It's time for the main event. Here comes the breakdown. Act 1, the setup.
Our wacky trip into the world of plastic surgery gone wrong starts with a 4x3 8mm looking red screen with the words, "Well, you're slim and you're weak. You've got the teeth of a hydra upon you. You're dirty sweet and you're my girl," which are lyrics by that kid who wondered if fish dream from Bad Lieutenant Protocol New Orleans. Jesus fucking Christ.
You see me when I sleep.
No, wait, sorry. That's from a totally different thing. Quick fact, though. These are lyrics from the song Bang a Gong, Get It On by T-Rex, which is referenced several times throughout the film and was used in the film's marketing as well. In fact, many rock bands are referenced in Longlegs notes, including lyrics from the bands T-Rex and Tommy James and the Shondells.
Which I think is mostly like if you actually sat down and transcribed those notes, like, I don't know who's doing that, but
Some poor PA.
I'm sure there's somebody sitting there like, I wonder what all the notes say. All the birthday murder notes, which, you know, was part of that website.
Yeah. The red screen fades to a car driving down a snowy road accompanied by some spooky music. We see a little girl doing homework in a dark room looking out a window. She spots the car on the road and heads outside to check it out before hearing a goofy voice in the distance doing some sort of Pokey from the Gumby Show impression. It's just an impression he just can't seem to let go of.
When I rewatched it, I realized that it was actually saying cuckoo.
Yeah.
But I did not pick that up at the first.
No.
Yeah,
Just
but I only
overwhelmed.
know from the subtitles.
She looks around at some trees that are accompanied by some unsettling string plucks from the music score before being startled by some ghoulish looking weirdo dressed in white that we only see from the neck down. He or she, whatever is politically correct nowadays, says, "There she is, the almost birthday girl. Oh, but it seems I wore my long legs today. What happens if?" Then Longlegs bends down, and for a brief moment, we see the face of Mickey Rourke and a character from the musical Cats Love Child, aka Nicolas Cage, and a disturbing amount of prosthetics, makeup. And I think he was wearing black contacts in this scene.
I think so. And that one scene, I feel like all the rest of the times he's not.
Yeah.
But in this one, I feel like they wanted to give that devil demon vibe to him for that brief second that you see his face. Which, spoilers for later in the film, I think this is the exact moment that he bent down and she took his picture. The cheese and crackers thing later on.
The title of the movie pops on the screen for a moment before being replaced by T-Rex Bang a Gong, as well as random symbols, pictures, and drawings that flash on screen for a few frames at a time. The music fades out, and we see a caption that reads, Part 1, His Letters, before cutting to Micah Monroe's character, FBI agent Lee Harker, who, along with a room full of agents, is being told to go door to door to look for a wanted subject. The lead agent says the suspect is a middle-aged Caucasian man who isn't likely to go quietly. We see Harker and her partner, Agent Giant Chin, Fisk, going door to door.
It's the fucking Moon Man.
Got a bicycle seat.
What is it? What's his
Fucking Quagmire.
Mac at Night? What's his name?
Mac at Night.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking of.
what is that name? The McDonald's Moon Man guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mac Tonight.
Mac
Tonight.
Oh my God. Or should I say, he goes to the door. She sits in the car quietly, looking awkward, aloof, and aspy, which is her default look throughout the entire film.
Yeah. We talked about it at some point, but Micah Monroe is not like this character at all in real life and has never really portrayed somebody who is quite this, autistic.
Yeah.
And
At least with Asperger's or something.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
vibe that you get, is that she might have Asperger's.
yeah,
It's very robotic.
I think it's, based on the trauma of her childhood, which
yeah.
we'll get to later on. But Oz Perkins was very unsure of casting her because she just felt too vibrant, and he wasn't sure about the casting. And then she sat down and did an audition tape and sent it to him, acting out some of the scenes, and that was good enough for her to get the role. Very good actress. I would like to see her in a lot more things.
Yeah, I hope this cartwheels her into more mainstream projects because she crushed it. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah,
She killed it.
she's done a lot of stuff.
She had It Follows was like kind of a big hit.
Yeah.
So.
I've seen her dubbed as one of the modern screen queens. So
Yeah,
she does a
true.
lot. She's got a career going.
Yeah.
As Paul Schrader says, though, she's got to get out of that ghetto of horror movies.
Listen, if you want to make it in the big times, you got to make movies like Dog Eat Dog.
You got to make challenging pictures.
We shot that in Ohio. That's a horror film. Good Schrader. She seems to get a bad feeling, so she gets out of the car, looks at a house, and tells Fisk it's that one, since, as we soon find out, she's psychic. She tells Fisk he's in there and suggests they call it in, and he says they're not going to call in for backup on a hunch, so he instead decides to go knock on the door. The door opens, and Fisk is immediately shot in the face. FBI. Oh.
Hey, I was wondering if you.
Would you like to buy some
What
Girl
happens
Scout?
when you knock on the wrong door in America?
Oh shit! Sorry, I didn't realize anybody was out there. Harker starts hyperventilating, but enters the house to find Dexter's kill room with plastic all over the walls throughout the house. But it's cool, since it turns out to just be where Benjamin Gates planned on doing some chemical test on the back of the Declaration of Independence. She finds a man in one of the rooms with his hands already in the air. So I guess popping one FBI agent in the face was good enough, or I don't know, maybe he just ran out of bullets. He only had one bullet for the gun.
It's left ambiguous in this of like, is this part of the whole her being protected by the devil plot that we get to later on, spoilers, or did he just decide to spare the woman, or he had second thoughts, or I feel like he was kind of told this isn't related to the birthday murders at all, this character, but I got the sense that this was part of the hex or whatever to get her onto the case that she gets onto right after this.
Yep. We cut to a 90s version of the baseline test they gave Detective K in Blade Runner 2049, where Agent Harker goes through some sort of psychic test where she's to state the first word that comes to mind when shown a series of pictures.
Do you long for the embrace of your lover? Within cells interlaced. I don't know what the hell that. I've seen Blade Runner 2049 30 times, but I don't know what half of that shit they're trying to like get to.
I was thinking that this morning, actually, or last night. Like, what the fuck is even the point of that in Blade Runner?
Yeah,
I think it was a callback to the original movie. Where,
it's like a Voight Kampf, but it's for him because he's a replicant.
Yeah.
And they're trying to see if he's getting too human, and then they're probably going to kill him.
Yeah,
yes,
Blade Runner
exactly. Yeah.
But I'm like, why are they doing it in this movie? Do they just like routinely subject
I think so.
FBI
like every
agents
time
to...
they like sent them. Oh no, in this movie,
No, in this movie, that's the one thing that never made sense to me. It's like, why?
Well, they wanted to test to see if she had the psychic abilities here.
Yeah, which I know the government has done remote viewing experiments and stuff, but I didn't think by the 90s they were routinely testing their FBI agents for psychic abilities.
Well, I think it probably was based off the fact that she knew which house it was just by like looking at it, and she probably said it in her report or whatever. I just felt like I knew that he was in there.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
And at around this time, there was a group of scientists out of New York that were conducting similar experiments like this that then led to them saving Manhattan from a giant marshmallow man. So it makes sense. All right, quick fact, which contains some spoilers. During the early scene in which Agent Harker is being tested for psychic abilities, all her answers foreshadow aspects of the film. Her answers include camera, which she kept Polaroid pictures that she took as a child, as well as the name of a family of victims, piano, which is present in Young Lee's room and at the scene of the camera murders, mother, alluding to her mother's involvement in the crimes, father, Harker's father is never mentioned throughout the film, but this answer corresponds to the inverted triangle representing 666. This triangle is a symbol she connects with Longlegs and Satan later on, also suggesting Lee is unwittingly under the influence of Satan the entire time. And Tiger, not a direct connection, but Longlegs' bed does have like many blankets with animal print on them. Like
just like that picture behind you.
Yeah, pretty damn close to that, but there's like way more.
Not quite as sexy.
No.
But
still kind of sexy. You know?
Feels like it's
still
the same.
Kind of sexy. Yeah.
It feels like it's Buffalo Bill's basement.
It does.
It feels like the same room. It's got the. And
he's got the mirror.
He did have the leopard
it was
print.
leopard print.
Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
I'd pay good money for that scene. It'd be exactly like that Marilyn Manson music video.
Yeah.
We next cut to Harker in the back of a car with two other agents in the front seats. And Agent Carter asks if she's a baseball fan, and he says he's a Mariners fan, which I could tell you, as a lifelong Mariners fan myself, means he's horribly, horribly depressed. Which probably explains why he ends up, doing what he does later on. He goes on to say she beat the psychic test with flying colors and asked her opinion on a house where a recent murder took place. I wish he would have asked if the Mariners will ever not be the only team in Major League Baseball history without a World Series appearance. All we're asking is that they just go. They don't have to win. Just go.
They don't have to win even one game.
No.
If they just made it and then lost to the Dodgers like everybody's going to for the next 15 years, I would take that. I would take that as a win.
Too. Just one appearance in the World Series. That's all I ask for.
That's it.
Is that too much? I'd sell my soul to Satan for that.
I sold my soul to Satan a long time ago when I started wearing Mariners stuff in the beginning,
He says a family of 4 lived in the house for 12 years until the father murdered his wife and kids before killing himself. Carter says the father stabbed the mother until the blade snapped off the handle, but she'll have to read about how the kids were killed in the file. It's pretty cool to have some light reading to look forward to later, I guess. Just cuddle up in bed, drink some hot cocoa.
The good book.
What else are FBI agents going to read?
Yeah.
She asks how there were 4 murder victims if it was a murder-suicide. And Carter explains that a letter was left with the bodies written in a coded alphabet written by somebody with no connection to the family. He says they found 10 letters like it over the last 30 years. And we see the letters on the screen. He says the MO is always the same and all the letters are signed with one word, Longlegs. Quick fact. Many of Longlegs' encrypted messages contain misspellings and poor grammar after being decoded. This is an homage to the Zodiac Killer, who was also known for his coded messages containing typos, which often made it more difficult to decode his messages. God, that would suck. To have been one of those cops trying to decipher it, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, this isn't even a word, dude. That'd be like me being a serial killer and trying to fucking write letters.
Hey, what the fuck does this say? Itinerant? What is this?
How do you misspell the?
Couldn't seem to sound out 17 for this guy. But he knew who Jacob Scipio is.
Who the fuck is Jacob Scipio? And this motherfucker can't even spell 17.
Who is Dostoevsky?
Oh, fuck. We cut to a dimly lit police station where Carter shows Agent Harker a wall of evidence related to the murders. He asks her what happened with her partner being killed. And she says she felt as though something was tapping her on the shoulder, telling her where to look. And Carter asks if she's had similar premonitions before, to which she confirms, the force is strong in my family. They call us Skywalker. Quick fact, the movie was originally set in 1992, but that was changed to 1993 so that Agent Carter's office would feature a presidential portrait of Bill Clinton and avoid having to show George Bush. The first one, not the second one.
Neither one were really liked, I will say.
Yeah.
By most people.
Yeah.
Except for the people who, never mind.
I don't know. The son went on to become a pretty great painter.
He's got some pretty good dog paintings. I like those. You know what's weird is I hated that guy as president. But he's like the most chill, relaxed president ever now. Like he's super cool.
He seems pretty normal now, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Boy, how were we so wrong with that one? And it's not his fault.
From under the influence of Cheney.
I was going to say,
like his long legs. Yeah.
He too had the devil behind him. Can you see? I can see Cheney. There he is, the homeless birthday boy.
He shoots you in the face with birdshot.
Whoops. He asks her what she sees in the wall of evidence, and she asks what the families have in common. And he says all the families have daughters whose birthdays land on the 14th of any given month. He hands her a file, and we cut to her on the floor surrounded by the evidence. Quick fact. A shadowy, horned, goat-like creature representing Satan is present throughout the film a total of 10 times, particularly when Agent Harker is investigating the satanic elements of the crimes. The creature's appearances were meant to be subliminal and not readily apparent to the audience. This is the first time we see it over Harker's shoulder while she's looking at the evidence on the ground. We'll point it out the other 9 times as they occur.
At least 10 times.
Yeah, I think there's possibly more than... They're everywhere. And didn't see one of them while I was watching.
I saw one, and that was because my wife pointed it out. I saw it. But then if you go back and you look at them, they're fucking creepy. Like when you hear that they're there, it's just like, oh God.
Yeah.
I think it's just as an audience, we're trained to watch the people on screen. So when you're watching their reactions to stuff, and then it's like, all you got to do is just kind of glance at a window right next to him. And it's just right there plain as day.
Yep.
It's just creepy.
Yeah.
There's some of them that I was like shocked that I missed when I knew that they were there and I watched the movie back. Like I was like, how the fuck did I miss that?
Yep.
But it works so great because in those moments you do feel uncomfortable. Like there's an extra added like when she's cutting open the letters or like looking at the letters, like there's this weird tension, and I never knew. I couldn't figure it out until we did this, and I found out, well, it's because at one point that image is behind her, because I didn't see that one.
Well, it's also that they have tons of doorways and windows in the frames for tons of it. So you always think there's always somebody over someone's shoulder, maybe, it's a horror movie. Yeah. She's being pursued by Longlegs. So you're always checking behind her to see what she can't see.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Leaves you unsettled and creepy.
Yeah. Just framed and shot so brilliantly. Like, yeah. That's
really well done.
Yep.
And, not something that was like 100% necessary or anything, but like adds another layer to it.
Yep.
Which I feel like there's a lot that even, after we exhaustively talk about this thing for 3 hours, we're still not even close to like unraveling all the onion pieces to this. I feel like there's a lot of little like subliminal things.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Also like sound design and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sound just makes you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. We hear a 911 call where a father explains that his daughter is not his daughter anymore, and that when she's sleeping will be the best time to do it. Apparently she fell asleep right away at that moment, because the next thing we hear is him killing her on the phone. We hear echoes of similar phone calls and flashes of several different crime scene photos, as well as blood going down a drain, which is an homage to his dad, I would imagine.
Yeah, a little psycho homage.
Mm-hmm. Agent Carter checks on Harker only to find the lazy bitch sleeping on the ground. That's your tax dollars, ladies and gentlemen. I wonder why no crimes get solved by the FBI nowadays. He tells her it's possible to look too long and says he's thirsty, so they head to a bar where he drinks while she tells him things like Tyrion Lannister. While again looking half catatonic, she explains that there's no signs of forced entry and zero evidence that Longlegs was ever in the houses of his victims. All the murders were committed by the father, and always with items from the house such as shotguns, knives, and a hammer. She hypothesizes that Longlegs might tell the family what he wants them to do, and that he might have accomplices who help orchestrate the killings. Harker drives Carter's drunk ass home, where she reluctantly goes inside to meet his family. She awkwardly greets Carter's daughter while whipping her head around like the Terminator, and Ruby, the daughter, asks if the weirdo wants to see her room, to which Harker just stares at her. Like, are we sure she's not Longlegs? Spoiler alert. When Lee meets Ruby for the first time, she's wearing a shirt with a White House on the front. This alludes to a scene later in the film when Longlegs is talking about the camera farmhouse being bright white, but Lee's house being the whitest he's ever seen. This also foreshadows Ruby being Longlegs' final victim.
were all the houses white? Because he
no.
makes a...
No, they're not, because in particular, that house that kicks off this whole investigation for her is colored. It's like a blue house, and it's in a neighborhood of colored houses. And then her mom even delivers a doll to like a dark blue house at one point.
I thought maybe that was like the through line, is he just chooses white houses with families that live in them.
I didn't think about that until you brought that up, because not all the houses were.
I kind of view it as like a metaphor, white for purity and stuff.
Yeah.
So he likes to find the most pure families he can find and corrupt them into doing this horrible shit. And maybe hers was because her mom was a nurse and was doing good things for people, single mom raising a daughter or whatever. Maybe that's why it was the whitest house he had ever seen.
Could be. Yeah.
It's kind of another thing that I didn't really think about is Lee and Ruth are the only family that Longlegs goes after that don't. It's not like a full family, like mom and dad and a kid.
Yep. Yeah, that was one of my questions. Is that symbolic? Like, does that have meaning? Is that why Ruth, I wouldn't say forgiven or spared, but is that why he allowed her to become his accomplice?
Makes you wonder, like, what happened to the dad and why the dad is never referenced one time.
Yeah.
By the way, they like to be called blue Americans, not colored houses.
I knew you were gonna make a joke about that. Houses with multiple colors on them: blue, yellow, all that stuff. Oh, God damn it! Just digging myself deeper.
All the colors under the rainbow, it's all good. It's all good.
In Ruby's room, Harker looks around like Rain Man before asking why a trophy has no head, then asks if she ever gets into a crib in the room. Ruby says, "Dad says he wants to keep some of my old stuff around so I don't grow up too fast, but I'm going to grow up anyway. Even Veals grow a little, and they live in a box with their legs all tied up and everything." It's a perfectly normal thing to say to a creepy stranger without human emotions. Yeah.
Hey, I know I just met you, but you ever think about how veal are just like trapped in a box and don't get to grow? And
that feels like something the screenwriter wrote. It's like, oh, this is a good line. I really like this.
Yeah.
And then he gives it to the wrong character to say it.
I mean, it also kind of feels like something a kid might think, like once they find out about veal.
True.
It just feels oddly profound and also phrased very weirdly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Which I think is intentional to tie into the dolls and then also to tie into what's going to come and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Ruby asks what Lee wanted to be when she was a little girl, and she says she wanted to be an actress. Ruby asks if it's scary being a lady FBI agent, and Harker says, yeah, it is. Agent Carter's wife, Steve Rogers, Anna, breaks up this fun little conversation and says it's time for bed. And Ruby asks if Lee can come to her birthday party, and Michael Myers says, "I'll be there," after slowly turning her head to the kid. Oh God,
she really has that vibe of Michael Myers.
Yeah,
kind of that.
She's just a blank stare.
Yes, I will.
Robotic movements. At home, Harker seems to have another premonition while staring into the darkness before heading inside the log cabin, or wherever it is she lives, and whatever she lives in.
It's just like that kind of wood paneling from the 90s, but I don't know.
But it's not.
Her house feels very different from every other location that we go to in the whole movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kind of like spooky because it's in the woods. Yeah.
It's like log cabin chic. I guess I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we talked about this offline, but the fear of the unknown, having all the freaking windows open in this scene when it's in the middle of the night, like none of us would ever do that.
No. I don't even do that. And I don't live out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's partially because I know that people can see in because I'm in a city. So
yeah.
It's like the house in Mandy, where like the wall of their bedroom is nothing but windows.
Nothing but windows.
Yeah.
Out into the woods.
Which was also intentional. So I got to assume that this was intentional in this case too.
Yeah. We see her sitting at a desk calling her mom in the middle of the night or possibly early morning. It's ambiguous.
Yeah. It's early morning, I think.
Yeah.
She
just took a shower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like she got home. We know it was after midnight when she was at Carter's house. So, and the sun's not up yet. So it's just probably close to dawn.
Yeah.
I guess we know it's close to dawn because after this, she goes to a crime scene and it's daylight.
True.
It's dawn.
Yeah, true. It's winter in Pacific Northwest, so it doesn't start getting light till about 7 o'clock. So this could be 6 o'clock, 6:30 even, and it could be that dark out.
Yeah.
Just getting ready for work.
Yeah.
I guess it could have been that.
Yeah. Her mom asks what she's doing, and she screams, "I'm making my lunch!" while smashing a pile of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. No, sorry, that was something completely different. But the scene felt very similar for some very reason.
I don't know why. Like it does. Like as soon as I saw that her at that desk in the like dim light, I just thought of Crispin Glover smashing those sandwiches.
I'm making my lunch.
Lee asks why it took her mom so long to answer the phone, and rather than say, "Bitch, it's still dark out," she says she's trying to go through some stuff and asks if Lee is okay.
One thing I noticed, it took Lee a really long time to get to the phone from the basement later on in the film, spoilers. So I got to wonder if Ruth was down in the basement with Longlegs.
Maybe.
And that's why it took her so long to answer the phone.
Yeah, could be.
Though he's there.
But he's
right.
there, right.
She's probably helping him set up stuff. He delegated something to her.
Yeah. True.
Put it on Trello. Assigned her a task on Asana.
He's slacking her. Hey, have you finished?
He's slacking her.
Got their swim lane set up with all their tasks.
You up 666.
I'm thinking about making some eggs. You want some?
Just has a whole bunch of custom gifts that he puts in. It's just the devil. It's just that vision of the devil showing up.
Harker says she can't sleep since there's a lot on her mind from work, and her mom asks if it's about nasty stuff, which is a similar conversation I've had with my mom. But she was saying, quit looking at nasty stuff and go to bed. Lee's mom, Ruth, says she used to be a nurse, so she's seen her fair share of nasty stuff like that. The time some guy wore a butt plug in the MRI machine. Turned his insides into soup.
True story.
This keeps happening. There's another case that happened recently of some lady that wore one and ended up in her freaking chest cavity.
God. Could you imagine?
No, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb.
I mean, I wasn't saying, can you imagine being the person who had the butt plug in? I mean,
yes,
being the one who's like running the MRI machine. You know,
I can't imagine flipping a switch and having it instantly just rip up through your body and kill you.
It said there was no metal. I'm suing. Why would you wear it in the first place? Get an MRI for Christ's sake.
Oh, fuck. Lee says she thinks she just needs to be quiet for a little bit. And her mom says Lee has a birthday coming up. What in the name of autism does that mean? Be quiet for a little bit.
Just a little quiet time. She called her.
You called me.
Yeah.
Suddenly we hear a quiet cough in the background, which startles Lee, and she quickly gets off the phone. Suddenly there's a loud pounding at her door. Harker grabs her gun and slowly makes her way to open it. She looks through the peephole and doesn't see anyone, so she makes sure the little chain lock thingy is secure. Always keeps the boogeyman out for me. Something that can break with a quick kick to the door.
Like locking the door with like a piece of tinfoil.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be better off using super glue. She turns on an outside light and spots a figure in the woods, and just above the figure we catch our second subtle glimpse of the devil, just above the figure's head, somewhat blending into the trees. Harker runs outside to confront the creeper in the woods, but once outside, she sees someone in her house, so she runs back inside. In the house, she's scared out of her mind, somewhat hyperventilating while looking for the figure, but rather than finding them, she spots an envelope on her desk with her name written on it, and the instructions do not open until January 14th.
Act 2, The Conflict.
We see the caption, Part 2, All of Your Things, before cutting to Harker using a switchblade to open the envelope. What's the all of your things referencing? I don't really get. First one was his letters, right? Was the part 1?
All of your things could refer to like her stuff that is in her room still, like because like Ruth said that she kept all of her things.
Yeah, that's it.
True.
It's all part of her past, which comes back around. It makes sense. Okay, cool. One of those layers. Inside she finds a birthday card with a cipher key for Longlegs coded letters and a letter from him on the back with fresh ink. It's pretty rude not to wait till the date on the envelope, but whatever. See him in the car with a fountain pen. Making sure it's got completely like fresh.
A quill.
Yeah. Which is like, how did he get it in the envelope without smearing the shit out of it? I guess he folded it up.
Tactician, dude.
It's an old pro.
Yeah. It would have been funny if she just pulled it out and it was all smeared. Just couldn't read it.
All over them. What the hell is this supposed to say?
She quickly deciphers the letter, which reads, "Tell them how you got this, how it came into your head. I'll cut off her hanging milk tits and bleed your mommy dead." And again, we see the faint appearance of the devil in the doorway behind her as she reads the letter, which you guys missed since we're picturing Nicolas Cage milking mommy tits. I guess I missed it too. No, I did miss it. Actually, yeah, we all missed it. I missed it. So this is the one my wife pointed out. She was like, "Oh, did you see that?" And it's really creepy when you watch it because it's like it like fades in and then fades out.
Well, it's that one feels like it's physically there though. That
standing
one's
in
one
the
of
doorway,
the creepiest ones. Yeah.
All the rest of them are usually like in a window or something looking through, but this is like he's in the doorway right behind her in the same room.
Yeah. Like right over her shoulder. It's just unsettling. And you don't notice it until later, and then you're like, why did it feel so unsettling? Well, that's why.
Yeah. Lee gets a call during all of this from her mom, which is picked up by the answering machine asking what's wrong. And then she gets a call from Agent Carter, who asks her what would have happened if Steve Rogers hadn't gone into the ice in 1945. Sorry, it's a different Agent Carter again. He tells her to come in, and we quickly cut to Harker arriving at a crime scene. Carter explains that the family was planning a trip to Disneyland, so no one checked on them, and that they've been dead for a month. It shows Harker another letter, which she immediately deciphers, much to Carter's shock, while she confirms that the girl in the family's birthday was on the 14th of December. By the way, we should mention the film is set in mid-January, so they've been dead for a month. He asks how she figured out the cipher, and she says, "I only looked long enough, sir." It's the same thing I say when someone catches me checking out their junk at the urinals. Doesn't take long.
What are you doing? I only looked long enough, sir. Not for me.
Next, we get a fun, long look at decaying bodies of the family who've been under a blanket for a month. And then they show a cat in a carrier that hisses. It's just the cat's been eating them. That's what they're implying by that, I guess.
I think when they pull the sheet off, like the face is kind of like looks like it's been gnawed off a little bit.
Yeah, there's also maggots covering it, but then it's like so the maggots could have eaten it. But yeah, it's just like cats will 100% eat you within days.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
yeah, they seem like your friends, but.
I don't know. Like I forget to feed my cat, and I feel like they're only minutes away from when they come over to you and they sit on you or whatever and stare at you. Like they're just going to take a bite out of you.
That nose looks edible.
God, just think about that. You're only like a day away from your cat eating you. Yep. When you think of how much they actually might love you,
yeah,
it's all a ruse.
They're our best buds. Yep, they're just using us.
Yeah. What is it? Every society is 3 meals away from a revolution. Every cat is 3 meals away from eating its owner. Anyway, then cuts to Lee calling her mom again in the middle of the night from a payphone in like a high school or something. I don't know where she is.
I don't know.
I thought it was the office, but why would she be using a payphone in the lobby of the FBI office?
Could it be the library? No, because she's not there yet. Never mind.
Maybe it is. Maybe she's.
I mean, potentially, like, because I would assume that the murders are spread out around Oregon.
Yeah.
True.
Then maybe they're traveling and they're just using places as makeshift offices.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it could be.
I don't know.
Anyway, it was a different world before cell phones.
Yeah.
They go find a payphone wherever.
Yep.
But anyway, every one of these calls between her and her mom are awkward and unnerving for some reason. There's lots of dead silence and breathing, and then there's like static. Like the subtitles are, they always call out there's like static or some hissing noise or something in the background, just so you get that there's something going on. And I think it's supposed to be there's someone listening in on all of them, keeping tabs on Ruth and her mom, and her daughter Lee and her mom. Lee explains that she's going to be busy with work, so probably won't be able to make it home to visit. And after some more uncomfortable silence, breathing and swallowing, Ruth says, "Be careful they don't work you too hard." To which Lee says they put her on something important. And it's good. It's good. When pressed for details, Lee says she wouldn't want to hear about it. And Ruth again says, not nice things.
I forget where she says it, but I know Ruth does say she calls her the almost birthday girl on. I feel like it's on one of these phone calls.
I think it's when she goes.
It's the first call.
Was it the first call?
I thought it was, but I think she reminds her on the first call.
Oh yeah, because that's how we find out that she has a birthday coming up. Yep.
Ruth asks if Lee will be home for her birthday the following week, and Lee says that she'll try. And then Ruth asks if she's still saying her prayers and that they will help protect her from the devil. Lee says she knows and tells her she'll call her later before hanging up on her. We cut to Lee doing more research on the former victims, where we see a clipping about a father saying the devil made him do it, and a story about a satanic cult on the Oregon coast. Yeah, she's looking at like microfiches, right? So maybe she was in the library. So
it must have been.
It must have, yeah.
So this is like right before she went in and to that library and started doing research. Yeah.
He was in the lobby of the library calling her mom. Rob and Pig tried to warn us about the dangers of the Oregon coast, but we didn't listen. She discovers the connection between the dates of the murders and an upside down triangle symbolizing 666, Satan, Lucifer, who we see again in the window before cutting away from the library for the fourth time.
Yeah, right between the bookshelves. Mm-hmm. We see it like right in the window. It's like perfectly framed center, and you still miss it.
I missed it. I wonder what the shot is. That's the whole point of the shot. You're just looking down an aisle.
Yeah.
I didn't even see it.
Right out the window. It's like super obvious when you watch it back.
Lee then tells Carter the dates are an algorithm Longlegs uses to pick his victims. She says that he decoded all of the letters, and one thing that was repeated through all of them was the phrase referencing a fine time we had at the Camera family farm where X marked the spot. A little bit of fun time, family fun. She tells Carter the details of the Camera family murder, where a priest came to visit them and was brutally murdered by the father with an axe. Then he killed his wife and finally himself. But in this case, the daughter survives since she was at school at the time.
We sort of talked about this one at some point too. It's like if we're going by the rationale of all the other murders where the kid dies too, the reason that Carrie Ann survives is because the priest stopped by in the middle of things. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess knowing that, you'd know that Ruth was there. So the priest probably showed up and was like, who's this nun? I don't know who this is.
Yeah. Yeah.
The murders all happened within 6 days of the daughter's birthday, and Lee hypothesizes that Longlegs was at the farm. Possible that the daughter, Carrie Ann, saw him there. Carter asks why there's been no murder on the 13th, which is the only day missing to complete the triangle, and she says that she's not sure, but says it's 3 days from now, so they might find it out. Foreshadowing. Carter asks if Carrie Ann is still alive, and Harker says she's in a mental institution, so they head to visit the farm before meeting with her. They arrive at the farm at either dawn or dusk during a thunderstorm, which seems to be a constant of this film, never quite knowing what time it is. It's probably, again, to make us uncomfortable as an audience.
I think it's supposed to be dusk.
Yeah.
Because the next, we see the coroner thing, but that
there's sunlight coming in through the windows in the top of the barn.
Huh.
I feel like they were talking in the office when it was dark out. So maybe it's dawn, like when she was talking with Carter. It's ambiguous, I guess, but
I don't know.
That's what I remembered it because I like that shot when they go into the barn. It's all dark except the two windows like eyes, and there's sunbeams looking down on the floor on them.
Yeah.
They search the property before they find some X's, which are all sideways crucifixes on a barn door. And inside they find more X's, which lead them to a loft and finally to a spot on the floor where they discover a creepy ass lifelike doll in a box with a piece of paper on top of it that only has an inverted triangle with a smiley face in the middle of it. A little winky emoji. In an autopsy room, a coroner explains that the doll is handmade with porcelain and human hair and was just beautifully made by a highly skilled craftsman. Well, he gives off some really creepy pedophile vibes.
She's handmade, that's for sure. And beautifully handmade at that. Porcelain head, hands and feet. Unbleached canvas body, cotton stuffing. The hair is human, what's left of it. All in all, it's beautifully made by a highly skilled craftsman.
So beautiful.
So good. Oh, the mouth is so lifelike.
God damn it.
It's got an elastic anus.
The legs are short. They don't get in the way, you know.
God damn it.
Carter asks about some metal ball, and the coroner says that it was inside the doll. Carter asks what it is, and he says that's just the strongman's metal ball from Phantasm. Don't worry about it.
Cross the line.
Actually, he says it's the brain, but it's hollow. And then he puts on some sort of doohickey up to it, which I think makes it vibrate and makes this crazy noise that triggers some flashes in Lee's head. I think it's supposed to be an ultrasound paddle.
I have no idea.
It makes sense with the sound, although you can't hear ultrasounds because it's ultrasound. So,
well, it like vibrates the ball, and that.
Yeah, I guess that's how you would know it was hollow because he put an ultrasound up to it without cutting it open. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I don't know if that works on metal, but whatever.
I don't know. Out of the three of us, you're the only one who would know how an ultrasound really works.
Well, it was definitely an ultrasound paddle, but I don't know if it would work with metal. Well, during these flashbacks or flashes or whatever they are, we see snakes and then a doll staring into a mirror in a dimly lit room. And then we see that Longlegs is the one crafting it. And he says, "What's your name, little angel?" And then says, "Nice to meet you, Carrie Ann." And then he says, "I know you're not afraid of a little bit of dark," before whispering, "Because you are the dark."
Spot on.
He covers the doll with a sheet, and we flash back to Harker in the autopsy room where the coroner says, "The other night I could have sworn it was whispering my ex-wife's name over and over again." So I guess this means that it's the next day, at least.
I don't know.
They brought the doll in and then came back to the coroner. He probably had other important stuff to do, like actual autopsies, maybe.
Yeah.
He had some actual children on the autopsy table that he had to deal with.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. No, he had to examine it. I mean, do an autopsy of.
Sorry, maybe I'm the only one who got that, but guy felt really creepy.
It just makes why is he influenced by this doll? Like, it doesn't seem like it has any connection to him, but I guess it shows that they sort of influence anybody who comes in contact with them.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was what we're supposed to get from his creepy "I'm going to have sex with this doll" vibe, was that he is under the influence of, whatever is.
It's got him thinking about his ex. I wonder why he got divorced.
God damn it. He's gonna
when he had to register
the fucking ground, huh?
When he had to register and go door to door, that was the breaking point.
Nigel, what's
I wonder if that's just supposed to mean it's getting him to start thinking about killing his ex, I guess, or something.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I took away from it.
Carter asks if the brain can be opened up, which the doctor says, yes, but there's nothing in it, so it probably won't help their case. It's just nonchalant. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Maybe it's just us, but we don't think this dude should be left alone with the doll.
He's definitely going to put that metal ball up his ass later.
I wonder if he was already under the influence of the thing and didn't want to open the ball because he knew that once he opened the ball, the power would go away or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
Or it's just, he's like, don't worry about it. Because he's trying to throw him off the case, maybe.
Maybe.
Well, Carter and Harker head to the mental institution to meet with Carrie Ann. But first we cut to a white car driven by our titular Longlegs, blasting some tunes before walking into a hardware store with an apathetic teenager working at the counter. Longlegs grabs a couple items, and then when he brings them to the desk, the girl says, "Can I help you with anything else today?" Prompting him to put his hands over his head and in front of his eyes and say, "Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo," while lifting his hands to reveal his eyes like that.
Yeah.
Cuckoo, cuckoo. Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo.
Yeah. We've said it a million times, but like Nick Cage somehow does something that I've never seen another human being do ever in every role that he takes. I've never seen anybody do it quite like that. It's always kind of like peekaboo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not like this. Also cuckoo instead of peekaboo.
It doesn't seem like the cuckoo has anything to do with the character. Maybe Cage made it up. I don't know.
Maybe.
I just feel like some weird thing. They rolled with it.
I feel like he did cuckoo in this, and then they ended up adding cuckoo into that other scene later on.
Took one of the cuts of it.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
Cuckoo. Imagine hearing that on the wind behind you. Oh God.
Oh God.
I want for the final stinger to be edit some other Nick Cage sound effect into the like the boom on the wind. That's what you. The girl's obviously dealt with this nutcase before and says, "I don't know what that's supposed to be." And the cuckoo says, "And what day is your birthday, little angel?" Well, sounding like he has a deviated septum or something. I don't know. I have to make fun of my sinuses like that. Yeah.
I think I feel like it must have been something where Cage was like breathing weird in the prosthetics, and he just decided to make it part of the character. Like,
just plug
he'd
his
had
nose.
plastic surgery on his nose and couldn't breathe quite right. Because he does that in every scene.
Mm-hmm. Gus, his way to mask his voice, just plug his nose so he talks differently.
Yeah, true.
Has to change how he talks.
I wonder if because every time we see Longlegs, he has his mouth open. Mm-hmm. Maybe Cage actually did plug his nose.
Yeah, I imagine. Something like that. She's had enough of this weirdo shit and says, "Daddy, that gross guy's back again," to presumably the store owner off screen. And we cut to Longlegs driving again, where he stares out the window with his mouth open before screaming, "Daddy! Mommy! Unmake me and save me from this hell of living!"
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That was awesome.
Just missing that like tremolo at the end.
Yeah.
Almost like he was singing a rock song, but I looked it up and it's like when I type in "Daddy, Mommy, Unmake Me and Save Me from the Hell of Living," the only thing that comes up is Longlegs.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe it was like lyrics to another T-Rex song or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but I guess it's just his own making.
Yeah. Same with the weird rhyme that he says about coming back multiple times later on.
Daddy! Mommy! Unmake me! And save me from the hell of living!
Just makes me wonder if he was like, we talked about it. What's his story? Was he a musician that sold his soul to the devil or something? And this is the hell that he's got to go through now?
Kind of what I think is like he got really into the satanic rock in the 80s and was a musician, and then tried to get plastic surgery so that he would look better as a front man, and then everything went wrong, and then he got influenced by the devil, and everything falls into place from there.
I mean, they seem to imply that whoever's doing his work doesn't want to do his work, and they get kind of roped into it for one reason or another.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later, I guess. We cut to the warden or whatever at the institution, who's a super flamboyant weirdo straight out of a David Lynch film, who explains that Carrie Ann has been catatonic and slumped in a chair for years. But the previous day, she got a visit for the first time, and that this guy can remember. And suddenly, she regained consciousness like a switch was flipped in her head.
This guy is really strange. But
He's got one scene and
kind of awesome. Yeah, he steals the scene. Whoever this guy is, I don't know if this was on paper like this or if he just showed up and was like, how about I dress in a bow tie?
Then yesterday, she gets a visitor, and I've never seen that happen either.
Felt kind of Coen Brothers-esque.
It does, yeah.
Some random character.
Harker checks the log, and the visitors sign their name as Lee Harker. And then she asks, like, did you check IDs? And he's like, how does he say it? I can't remember. It's funny, though. It's like, it would.
Well, that does sound like a good idea.
But no, we don't. Lee cut to Lee questioning Carrie Ann, who seems to recognize Lee, and says that Lee has been to Carrie Ann's house before. Lee asks if Carrie Ann remembers her parents, and she says, they didn't know what to do with themselves. Then we flash to Carrie Ann as a child, and we see the doll Longlegs made. Carrie Ann explains that her mom never liked her since she came out wrong as a baby, and we see her mom strip and slash open her stomach with a knife, but I don't think she actually cuts it. She just drags it up and stares at the doll or just a camera or whatever.
Yeah,
she just wants attention.
Yeah.
She just wants attention. She's on diet pills.
Then it cuts to her mom stabbing the doll in the stomach, which you can't quite tell it's a doll at first. It looks like she just stabs her daughter in the stomach. And then the dad shows dad sitting in the living room with the doll on his lap. We cut to the dad chopping the head off of a cow, RFK Jr. style, strapping it to the top of the car and driving off. Anyway, just cutting the head off a cow and then killing the preacher. And then Carrie Ann's mom, while she explains that her dad was a good man and that's why he'd done it.
Was he a good man because he followed the logic of Satan, or was he a good man because he killed the preacher, thus saving Carrie Ann from being killed?
Yeah.
Because I think the preacher broke up, spoilers, Ruth being there with the doll. And,
yeah.
I feel like there's a shot of the preacher like looking and asking who this is or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So it's Ruth off camera.
Yeah.
And then he comes in with the axe and hits him and then comes after his wife.
Mm-hmm. And then he kills himself, presumably, after that.
Yeah. Which I think we've talked about, well, I guess we'll get to it. Like when Carter's going through it, he's crying. So it's like there's some sense of they can tell what they're doing is wrong, and maybe her dad was able to stop it and do it fast enough to save his daughter, I guess. I don't know. Well, he asks Carrie Ann about the visitor she had, and she says, gosh, I don't ever want to forget him. I was just waiting for him to come and get me, to come and tells me something's to do for him. Or even better, do something for the man down the stairs. And boy, I just want to do whatever he says me to do. Like if and he tells me to take a jumpy out a window, I surely do. Just happy as peaches to go watch the ground as it come up to meet me. Or if he told me to kill you right there in this here room and with my bare hand, I surely do. It's so hard to read this.
I know. It's hard to describe, transcribe it as well.
Yeah. Just happy as peaches to watch your heart go pop and your eyes go all to blood. Turn into Southern Gollum. Lee awkwardly swallows a couple of times and then just kind of glosses over all that insane shit she just said while asking if she remembers seeing a special doll that looked like her, to which Carrie Ann says, no, and you don't remember neither, you dirtsy, flirtsy old angel bitch. Dirtsy, flirtsy old angel bitch. Filthy, tricksy, false habits. We cut to a bathroom where Agent Harker is having a bit of a panic attack because I'm guessing, to quote another classic bathroom panic attack scene, her stomach is doing hula hoops around her ass. We cut to our boy or girl or whatever the film's going with, Longlegs, in a candlelit room reading, and we see his doll making room that Harker saw in her vision. This time, it's accompanied by yet another subtle glimpse of the devil who slowly fades in the corner. We cut back to Harker, seemingly realizing something while staring at herself in the mirror, but we'll save that reveal for a bit later. And we cut to Agent Carter painting a Union Jack on a shield. It's the wrong Agent Carter. Again. Carter tries to rationalize why Longlegs would come visit Carrie Ann 20 years later, sign his name as the agent who is chasing him, and leave Carrie Ann's brain significantly less fried than it was for the last 20 years. Harker links her coming out of her catatonia the same day they found the doll and suggests that the doll contains some sort of power that makes it work, and tries to convince her FBI agent boss that magic exists. Carter argues that Longlegs is just a man, and then questions how this serial killer knows who she is. She says she doesn't know, and when pressed about what she's not telling him, she refrains from talking about Longlegs' threat to cut off her mom's tits or whatever. Carter says that he revisited her file and asks when was the last time that Lee talked to her mom. Parker's taken aback, or should I rephrase that, since what we get is that she's taken aback by the question through whatever aspie facial tic she's capable of emoting. Carter says Ruth called in a police report the day before Lee's 9th birthday, which is on the 14th like all the other victims, and gave a description of a trespasser who was tall and pale. All of this is news to Agent Harker, who seems to again be hiding something, or again, she's just incapable of showing human emotions. Carter asks if she remembers seeing the man, and Spock says, "I don't know, sir." And then he suggests that she go see her mom to question her about the trespasser.
I just put together that Liu's death was supposed to happen on the 13th, which is, you know, potentially the first victim of this whole thing. Or
like,
I don't know.
Longlegs shows up with the doll to give it over. It's your almost birthday girl, and then her mom ruins it.
Yeah.
Somehow.
So her mom sacrifices herself to his bidding in order to save her, which means that we still need a victim on the 13th on down the line. And
I guess through numerology, it just loops around to becoming the last victim. But it was going to do it on the 13th and then follow some pattern, and then we just have to, you know, mess that one up. So now we just do the other ones and come back around to the 13th.
Mm-hmm. Act 3, the resolution.
We see Lee arrive at her mom's house where she finds her equally spaced out, semi-catatonic looking mom sitting on her bed. She gives Lee that prototypical white person smile that people, you know, guys give each other when they're on hiking trails, you know. That thing. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about, because we've all done it or been on the other side of it. They give each other a hug, and Ruth asks Lee to tell her the honest truth as to whether she's been saying her prayers or not. Lee tells her that she doesn't and never has, not even once, because they scared her, which I guess is partially why this is happening, like because she hasn't been praying to God or whatever. I kind of wonder if, like, maybe there is a part of Ruth that's still there, and she wanted to try and protect Lee by having her pray to God. I think so. Yeah. Ruth stares at her for a long beat before she starts laughing like a witch, or like that little kid from David Lynch's Dune with the knife.
God damn it.
R.I.P. David Lynch. Lee asks, "What's so funny?" And Ruth says, "Prayers don't do a goddamn thing anyway." Fucking blasphemer. Lee whips up something in the kitchen, which I have to wonder, like, what she was making. Just boiling some bread. I don't know.
Making her lunch.
But Lee spots a treasure trove of mind-numbing drugs and needles in a box nearby. She's like, she blasphemes there too. You know, she's like, Jesus Christ, Mom.
Acid made by a man with a pet tiger.
Oh, they got to you. Harker suddenly sees a beetle or something stroll into the kitchen from under a locked door next to the kitchen, which Lee almost seems like she doesn't even know what that door is or something. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, like almost like she's seen it for the first time.
Yep.
Yeah. Which, you know, goes back to the under the influence thing.
Yep.
When she sees the beetle, it triggers another vision of some snakes, which is like, it's always like a boa constrictor in all of these shots, which I guess just represents the devil. I don't know. That was one of my questions.
Is it one of the snakes white? Like, is it?
I don't know.
I thought it was like a boa, and there's a second snake that it shows, but I thought it was like a white.
Oh, is it a different one?
I think so. I think there's two that it always shows. I don't know. The devil and Longlegs, maybe.
Yeah,
he kind of does the whole
several times
when he's doing the thing like a snake. So maybe it's supposed to be like him.
He's doing his Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance move. So we see the snakes, and then we flash back to Lee in the kitchen and get another glimpse of the devil, which is in the window of like the door behind her, which very, very subtle. Like you just see it for a second, and then it flashes to her and her mom when they were both younger. Ruth tells young Lee she got someone to cover her shift for her birthday, which I got the sense that she was a single mom at this point already. I don't know if her dad like died or what, but we never get that answer. But we cut to Ruth in the bathroom cleaning blood off of a blouse before a car pulls up outside. The timeline here is really confusing. I'm not really sure if the blood was from her job as a nurse or if it was from, spoilers as we see, the murders that she carries out for Longlegs. I don't know. But Ruth is like cleaning blood off of her blouse in the bathroom, and then she hears somebody pull up outside. Ruth worriedly tries to call the police, but there's nothing but devil whispers on the line. Devil whispers, just static and stuff.
It could be a flash forward, I guess, to where she's already helping him. Because we know he lives there, spoilers. So maybe he shows up and she tries to call the cops, but can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because maybe she's snapping out of it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like she's fighting against the control constantly, but can't get out of it.
Yeah. We see her load a double barrel shotgun, which reminded me of that scene from Mad Dog and Doggy Dog. The telemarketer calls. He slams the phone down. We cut back again to Lee, who is trying to open the door that the beetle came out from under, or whatever that was, a cockroach, I don't know, but is stopped by her mom calling for her. Ruth creepily says, "I can't believe it's going to be your birthday again so soon. What a day that was. I bled and bled and bled and bled and bled." Goes on for a really long time before Lee interrupts her mom's psychotic rambling by asking if she remembers Lee's 9th birthday. This causes Ruth to close her eyes as if she's like, it felt like she was realizing that Lee is on to like what actually happened and is starting to put things together. But she closes her eyes as if she's in pain for an uncomfortably long time before saying, "No, I don't think so. I don't remember anything. Do you?" Ruth finally opens her eyes, which are teary. So Lee asks what happened on that day. We get the sense everybody who's under the control of the devil is in some way still there. So I think this was Lee kind of there, but not really at the same time. Lee asks what happened on that day, and Ruth turns her head and just says, "Nope." Which is the exact same way that I answer my doctor when he asks me why my cholesterol's so high. Nope. We're not going to talk about this.
Carrie
I eat what I want. What?
Carrie Ann did the same thing.
Oh, she said nope.
She said nope. Give it to you.
Lee asks what the hell she means by no, and Ruth says, "It's just the way it sounds, baby girl." Lee confronts her about calling the police and filing a police report about a trespasser, which causes Ruth to start kind of rocking around back and forth while saying, "No one ever came to visit us. Not any family, no strangers, no big bad wolves, no anybody." Ruth says little girls shouldn't know about this kind of stuff. And Lee says she's not little anymore, prompting Ruth to kind of start yelling at her. She says, "You're not a child anymore because you were allowed to grow up." Then she says, "This is a cruel world, especially for the little things," which is, I swear, a line directly taken from Raising Arizona when he's like blasting the lizard off of the rock. I feel like it was an intentional homage.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Ruth says she has tried to forget everything she could possibly forget for both of their sakes by doing heroin or whatever the hell she's doing there. I don't know what that is. I don't know my drugs, so you guys can. Yeah. If it's morphine or something, I don't know.
There was like little rocks, so
yeah.
I don't know if that's supposed to be heroin or crack or whatever.
She also says that she never threw anything away, which is pretty evident by her hoarder house, and that all of Lee's things are in her room, which she pronounces, "It's all in your room," or however. She has a really weird accent.
Yeah,
throughout the film. Room. We cut to
Maybe
Lee
it's just
opening.
supposed to be like she's been isolated from people for decades, so she doesn't really.
I don't know.
And
I mean, they kind of did the same thing with Carrie Ann, where she talks weird.
Well, maybe it's supposed to be that, to mirror that. Like she's basically been under the influence of the devil and kept away from people, so she just sort of was losing the ability to say words properly.
Mm-hmm. We cut to Lee opening a box with the words "Lee's first tampon" written on it. Sorry. No.
God damn it.
We see that Lee's childhood bedroom is the same room that we saw the little girl spotting Longlegs' car from in the opening of the scene. I was just saying, she did say that she never throws anything away. So, that's an important memory.
God damn it.
Her house is remarkably clean for a hoarder, if you think about
it. It is. I've seen some fucked up hoarder videos and stuff, and they're way worse than her mom's.
She doesn't have like random Hungry Man boxes all over the kitchen and diapers in the bathroom and stuff like that. So there's that. Lee has a vision of herself as a child opening a chest in her room, which is kind of like off to the corner. And in the darkness of the doorway, we again see the devil hiding in the shadows, which I think is the hardest one to spot. Like, I'm not even 100% positive that it's there. It was just called out. But at one point I paused it and I swear I could see the silhouette, but it was like in the grain of the film. I don't know. Lee takes the chest home to her log cabin house, wherever the house that we saw her in earlier. And inside she finds a box of Polaroids, one of which contains an image of Longlegs that was taken the second after his face came into view from the opening scene of the film. This triggers some sort of Mandy-esque psychedelic vision, which terrifies Lee, and suddenly she remembers that ghoulish weirdo saying, "Cheese and crackers," while having his picture taken. Young Ruth spots Lee talking to a melted wax figure in the yard and asks why the hell this creepy freak is talking to her kid. Longlegs uses his hands to control some imaginary marionette puppets or something, and then starts singing, "Let me in now, and it can be nice. Let me go now." And I'm not going to sing it. I'm just going to play the clip.
Let me in now, and it can be nice. Make me go now, and I have to come back. Not once, not twice, but as many times as I like.
Starting to see why his band didn't do so well.
Yeah.
All of that in like a crazy high falsetto voice with like echo and reverb and a little tremolo. It's just batshit insane. I'm like super convinced that Longlegs was the original leader of the Children of the New Dawn from Mandy, but he was too weird looking, or he got his face all messed up from plastic surgery. They brought in pretty boy Jeremiah Sands to take over the band. We cut away from that utter insanity to Lee driving to find Agent Carter, whose Mariners have still never made it past the American League Championship Series in 47 years. God damn, man.
They're cursed.
They're cursed. Lee hands him the photo of Longlegs, and he asks if she's sure that she wants to do a full manhunt based just on this picture. And I'm like, how hard would it be to find that guy?
Yeah. Right.
Have you seen this 100% unique creature that nobody else has ever looked like ever? We cut to Longlegs' basement doll making room that we saw earlier. Where we see his bed. Again, this time he's not in it. A new doll brain in the corner, and finally a doll face, which fades to his own face. And he's standing at a bus stop, and we get our first really good look at him 70 minutes into the film, something like that. Anyways, he looks like Lady Fairchild from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and Gene Simmons from Kiss had a child who was really into powdering up their face like an English dandy from the 1700s. Best description I can give.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Honestly, like we've said throughout, there's just no sign of Nick Cage, especially in this shot. He's completely gone. And this is coming from three freaks who have sat and watched 50 plus Nick Cage performances scene by scene. He's just not there. It's just it's a different human, mostly because of the prosthetics, though.
Yeah.
I think you can kind of like see the lips and a little bit of the chin, maybe, but it's just a completely different person. We suddenly hear several sirens and a helicopter, which we never actually see, coming from the distance. And as they arrive, Longlegs puts his briefcase and suitcase down. Why is he carrying a briefcase around?
It's his ukulele case.
He's going to tiptoe through the tulips.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
And then he like puts his hands up in the air as if he knew this was all coming. It's, you know, more foreshadowing, which reminded me of Seven when John Doe walks into the police station and gives himself up. Some horrible actor / FBI agent says, "Sir, I'm going to need you to get down on the fucking ground." To Longlegs kind of from off the side of the shot.
Yeah.
Like this is obviously shot 2 different times. His scene was clearly shot separate from these day player FBI agents who never show up again.
Sir, I'm gonna need you to get down on the fucking ground.
Then Longlegs kind of like fidgets around before cutting to him on a video camera, which is really unforgiving of all the bumpy makeup, and it just looks really gross. We finally hear Longlegs' name, which is Dale Ferdinand Cobble, and he says he'll only speak to Agent Harker. They ask how he knows who she is, and he says, "A friend of a friend of a friend. And this friend wants me to say, 'Happy birthday, Lee Harker.' And he wants you all to know that he'll be there, and you'll be there, and you'll be there, and you'll be there." If you watch when he looks in different directions on the camera, like through the video on the TV, he looks directly at Agent Carter, and then he looks directly at Agent Browning, and then he looks directly forward, which is either to Lee or to us as an audience, because we're there to witness it as well.
Yeah.
Then he starts singing Happy Birthday while kind of sobbing. And an agent, I think Browning, pauses the video on the most terrifying face possible. And then she says that he sang Happy Birthday for 24 minutes. Which would drive anyone crazy, even if it wasn't sung by someone moaning like a dying Muppet dressed like Joker's mom. Fucking worst. Happy birthday. Agent Carter clears the room of everyone aside from Harker and Agent Browning, who says Longlegs' suitcase was stuffed with notebooks filled with satanic ramblings, but the handwriting on the notebooks matches the letters that were found at the murder scenes. So I guess that's enough. I mean,
it's enough to hold him.
Yeah.
To hold him, yeah. She says there's no physical evidence whatsoever that Longlegs has ever killed anyone, but she's more concerned about how he knows who Lee is. So I guess more like fearful of her safety because, you know, usually cult leaders are not working alone. But it's fine because he's in custody and nothing can happen to her, right? Suddenly Lee says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea with 7 heads and 10 horns. And on his horns he wore 10 crowns, and on each head was written a blasphemous name," which really comes out of nowhere and feels kind of just shoehorned in here. But I guess it's something that her mom does say it later on. So maybe she's just quoting. It's maybe because he has accomplices. I don't know exactly what we were supposed to get from her saying that.
I think that's why, because that's why she's so convinced he has accomplices.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, she's drawn the connection to the book of Revelation.
Mm-hmm. She says Longlegs has to have someone helping him that the families felt comfortable letting into their houses. Carter says it's good enough that they got the guy who wrote the letters, but she says it isn't over since they need to find the accomplices or accomplice, who, you know, whatever. If they were going to make a sequel, they could easily just be like, there were multiple people. She also says that they're still missing the 13th on the triangle calendar algorithm thing. So they can expect his accomplice to kill at least one more family. So she wants to question Longlegs. We see another flashback to the interaction between Longlegs and Ruth from the 70s or whatever, where Longlegs says, "I'm a friend of a friend." And when Ruth asks what friend, he says, "My friend that lives downstairs." Then she asks, downstairs from where? Ruth really seems normal in this, but then, she's a freak kind of later on when we see her after she's been put through the ringer of this insanity. Yeah. But I like that they made her just kind of feel like a mom who was trying to protect her kid in this scene. She says, downstairs from where? And he says, everywhere. You can call him Mr. Downstairs. Which is what I call my... never mind. We cut back to Lee just outside the interrogation room, psyching herself up for the big confrontation with Joan Rivers.
God damn it.
When she enters, Longlegs greets her with, oh, there she is, the almost birthday girl. And then he starts singing Tiptoe Through the Tulips right after that. Which echoes exactly what her mom said earlier. I don't remember where it was, but she did say that she was the almost birthday girl at some point. I don't remember when, but Longlegs says, it's funny, the day you decided to go into law enforcement, you were 20. We had such a big laugh about it, although it was only me who laughed, not she. And Lee asks who she's talking about, and Longlegs says, the seventh she to be given the same choice they've all been given, crimson or clover. Accept the gift and destroy it and destroy yourselves, or keep it and bow down. Bow all the way down. Get right down to the dirty, dirty work. Which is the same thing I said on my honeymoon. Ready to get down. He says, work that gets dirty as it cleans like a mop, like a rag. However he says that. She tells Longlegs she knows he doesn't work alone and wants to know about his accomplices or accomplice or whatever, which prompts him to start spinning in his chair like Ghost Rider before he whips his head to the side and says, knock, knock on the farmhouse door. A nice lady with a Bible and a congratulations, you've been selected. You may now collect your gift from the church. It says right here on the orders from the man downstairs. The Camera family farmhouse will be so bright and white you can't miss it. Lee asks if he's referring to Carrie Ann Camera, and he says, oh, but Lee, your house was even whiter when I came to visit. She asks if it was January 13th, 1974. Like a computer. Data is here. When he visited her, and he says, and then house number 8 was so white, whiter than a fish's throat, whiter than tits. I knew then that the work we were doing was immaculate, and it would take your tits off. Call back to a movie nobody's ever seen. She vehemently says, but your work's over, to which he says, this is like the point when he finally kind of calms down because he's sort of crazy, and then he calms down and says, yes, I am done, but I won't only be in here. I'll be a little bit of everywhere, waiting in the wings, in the Father's wings. She again presses to find out who his accomplice is and who the man downstairs is. So he says, why don't you ask your mommy? She says her mother doesn't know anything, and Longlegs lifts his head up in the air real high, says, "Hail Satan," and then bashes his own head against the table over and over. It's just gruesome.
Yeah.
Fucking rips his own nose off.
Yeah.
It's just plastic surgery is, it's like flimsy. It'll just come right off.
Yeah. Went to Michael Jackson's surgeon.
Yep. This is the second movie in 2 years where Cage's character's last words were "Hail Satan." Almost makes you wonder if it's a coincidence at all. I don't know.
Yeah. Could explain his recageissance.
That's right, yeah. Sold his soul. Anyway, Lee stands in the corner covered in blood as agents rush into the room to stop Longlegs from smashing his head like a pumpkin, but they're too late. She's got like blood spattered on her from that. A caption pops on the screen that says Part 3, Birthday Girls. And we reach the true final act of the film. But for our purposes, I counted it as when Lee started to piece together that her mom was somehow involved. Otherwise, it'd be like a fucking 5-minute finale to piece here.
Fastest finale in the history of film.
No, that goes to dark.
Yeah, that's true.
That was like a 7-hour finale, dude. What are you talking about?
Carter is pissed that now they have nothing and that it's somehow Lee's fault that the guy just turned his head into mashed potatoes. Which, you know, I think we kind of piece it together that he's under the influence of the devil this entire time. So he's more upset that they lost the person that they could pin this on and isn't concerned about the accomplice because, you know, spoilers, he's about to become a part of this whole thing. He also says that during the interrogation, Carrie Ann jumped off the roof of the mental institution. So I guess that finishes the triangle because I guess this is supposed to be the 13th. They catch Longlegs. They do the interrogation. He kills himself. Carrie Ann jumps off the roof. They go to the house, her mom's house, and then they go to the birthday party right after that. This is all in one day, apparently. So if the goblin who wrote the letters is dead and Carrie Ann killing herself finishes the pattern, then why is he so upset about this? But yeah, I guess because he's under the influence of the devil. Because Browning is totally on Lee's side to continue investigating and stuff. Carter yells that Longlegs told Carrie Ann to do it and that he did the same with the other families with no accomplices, and then he just storms off. Then Agent Browning drives Lee to her mom's house so that they can take her into custody because they think that she might know something about who the accomplice is because she knows she definitely met Longlegs and had an interaction with him. But I don't think they fully put together that she was a part of it at this point. Browning stays in the car as Lee heads into the house where she finds the door to the basement that she was trying to unlock earlier fully open. Quick fact, when Lee enters her mom's house near the end of the film, all 3 hands on the clock over the archway have been set to 6, which is another instance of the 666 theme that's recurrent throughout the film. We cut back to Browning in the car, and in the rear window, we see Ruth walk up from behind and blast Browning in the face with a double-barrel shotgun. In the house, Lee hears the shot, and as she walks away from the basement, we see yet another glimpse of the devil in the window behind her, which is really unsettling. That one in particular. I never saw it. I watched it 3 times and didn't see it, and then I finally went frame by frame and saw when she first walks out of the basement, it's clear as day in the window, devil head. Just kind of creepy that your mind can just block that out. Yep. Kind of same thing as the influence of the devil, you know?
Yep.
Lee makes her way to a window where she sees her mom take another shot on the other side of the car at Browning's head, which I'm not sure if you've seen what can happen when you fire a shotgun from 6 inches away from somebody, but I don't think he needed that second shot. I think she was deader than fried chicken already. Lee can't believe her eyes, and then she poses for the movie poster. She runs outside to stop her murdering mom, who has the shotgun trained on a doll that looks exactly like Lee as a child. Lee asks, what the hell is that monstrous thing, whatever the hell that is, referring to the doll, and Ruth tearfully says, you caught him, now he's free. Lee tells her Longlegs is dead, and so everything is over, and Ruth says, and you're free too, baby girl, before blasting the head of the doll after we see about 2 frames of actual young Lee, which is kind of a blink and you'll miss it little thing there. Just a really quick glimpse of the kid who played Lee at the beginning before cutting to the doll getting shot in the face. Some smoke flies out of Lee's head, out the back of her head, causing her to grab her temple and ask what's happening before falling on the ground and passing out while watching smoke come out of the doll's head. We cut to Lee as a kid again, while Ruth tells her daughter and all of us a little story. She says, once upon a time, there was a girl named Lee. She lived in a little house with her mother, and no one ever came to visit. No family, no big bad wolves, no anyone. But one day, a man did come. A doll maker. We see Longlegs from the neck down again, and he says, I'm just dropping off an early birthday gift. I came from the church. You won. We cut to Longlegs crafting Lee's doll, and Ruth says the doll maker started his work, his terrible magic, the work of the devil, with a little bit of him in every one. The doll made the little girl forget and told her where to look and what not to see. The devil wanted the little girl for his own, but her mother couldn't let that happen. By the way, we see another shot of the devil standing over Lee in this shot, which I think is the one, Nigel, you said that you saw.
Yeah.
Like, right, like a big shadow over the top of her. Also, we should probably point out that creepy as all hell kiss that Longlegs gives that doll.
His terrible magic. The work of the devil.
Something tells me that he and the coroner guy are going to be just best buds in hell.
God damn it.
We see Longlegs tying up Ruth in the living room, where we hear him say, "You could have played nice with me, but you didn't. And that is the reason for all of this." Then we cut to a creepy dark silhouette on a nearby couch of Lee's doll, whose eyes are just like glowing under the sheet. It's just fucking creepy as hell.
Yep.
Did a really good job with those dolls.
Yeah.
Making them as spooky as possible. Ruth says she begged for Lee's life to be spared, and in exchange, she'd have to help Longlegs. She says she had once been a nurse, and now her work would be murdering families. She wonder what kind of dental plan that comes with. We see Ruth delivering a doll while dressed as a nun to the camera family, which I guess was the first victims of this whole thing. I'm guessing.
I was just looking it up. You can look at the website that they set up, and it lists all the victims. And Lee would have been the seventh, like he says.
Oh, okay.
It started in like 1968. The first victims were I don't remember, some other family.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, then after that, Ruth started helping. It doesn't even have the cameras on here for some reason.
I guess technically the kid never died.
Yeah, because she never died.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see her dressed as a nun. She arrives at the camera family farm, and she says, "It went like this. Knock, knock, knock on the farmhouse door. A nice lady with a Bible and a congratulations, you've won. A gift from the church." Exactly the way that Longlegs said it in the interrogation. We see her enter the house, and she says all your mother had to do was get inside. Then, from his hiding place within the house, the devil did the rest. We again see the father murdering his wife, then see Ruth running from the house, covered in blood on her clothes, and her throw up and hyperventilate in the car. She says all she had to do was make sure that the murders went down the way that he wanted them to, and in exchange, Lee got to live. Guessing, is she talking about Longlegs or the devil? How he wanted them to. We cut to Lee waking up in the basement of her mom's house, and wouldn't you know it, the basement just so happens to be where Longlegs has been living and crafting his dolls all these years. Some psychic. But, like we said, she can only see what he wants her to see. Mm-hmm. She hears a phone ringing upstairs, and when she answers it 5 minutes later, it takes her forever to stumble up the stairs and answer the phone. She hears the same devil whispering Ruth heard earlier, but this time it's accompanied by a demonic voice saying, "You're late for Miss Ruby's 8th birthday." Then it says, "I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy." Tongue comes out of the phone. Yeah. Lee stumbles outside, still shaken up by whatever was happening with the doll brain exploding and coming out of the spell of all of this. And she finds Longlegs' car in the garage, which I guess she never was able to see because of the spell. She uses it to drive to Agent Carter's house while bawling her eyes out and screaming, which is the most emotion we see her have at any point. So I think she's kind of coming out of her Rain Man funk.
Well, the doll is destroyed, so it's sort of now she's free, as her mom said. Maybe. Yeah.
She pulls in to see her mom's slug bug in the driveway and runs inside with her gun drawn. Carter excitedly greets Lee at the door and is happy she made it to the party. She's confused and asks if everything is okay, and Carter says everything is fine, and that she's just in time for presents. When Lee enters, Carter looks around outside to see if anybody's watching. And when he closes the door, we see the devil reflected in the glass window, which marks our final subtle glimpse of the devil. That one's a little less subtle.
Yeah.
Inside, we see Ruby sitting next to her doll and Ruth sitting across the room from her. Lee tries to tell Carter that Ruth is Longlegs' accomplice and has been this entire time, but he screams for her to sit down because he's already in his murder mode. The family all seem completely out of it, and Anne, Carter's wife, not Steve Rogers, asks what Ruth's name was again. Ruth says, "Don't mind me. I'm just a friend of a friend." Lee tries to break the spell, but Carter just stares at the doll and says he needs to go find something to cut up the cakes with. Cakes, plural. So he's clearly not referring to a cake. He's referring to the kid and his wife. Anne seems to be trying to come out of this hex or whatever, and she like chokes and stops herself. Which, I think that's true through all of these, is like anybody who's under the influence of the devil or whatever is still there and knows what they're doing, sadly, but can't stop themselves. But she can't, and instead asks if he has to cut up the cakes, to which Carter says, "Yeah, I have to cut up the cakes. It was your stupid fucking idea, a suggestion in the first place." I think it's funny, like kind of add a little bit of levity, even though it's like just really fucked up and awful. But just these parts made me laugh with Carter for some reason. Ruth tells Lee the woman is already dead and the little girl will be next. Carter has tears in his eyes as if he knows what he's doing but can't stop himself, and escorts his wife into the kitchen. Anne says, "I'm so sorry. We'll be right back," to Ruth, but Carter says, "No, I'll be right back. You'll still be in the kitchen." I guess I shouldn't laugh, but
I think it's supposed to be darkly funny.
Dark comedy. Yeah.
A couple of moments like that in the movie.
Yeah. I feel like Longlegs' entire character is just a dark, hilarious joke. I don't know. Ruth says all three of them have to die because if they don't, then we will burn and twist and burn and twist in hell forever and ever, which I guess she's referring to Lee and herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suddenly we hear Carter kill his wife in the kitchen while Lee just stands there and does nothing. But, maybe she's incapable and isn't able to like even move. She's also under the power, but the doll was destroyed, so maybe she's not. I don't know.
Well, I think she's under the power of this doll, the one that's in the room right now. But outside of that,
as we
she's
kind
free
of
to act
established, that the dolls control anybody who's around them.
Yeah.
We cut away from that and we show Ruth delivering dolls to all of the victims' houses that we've seen throughout the movie so far. Ruth says she's doing this so that Lee can live, and that I'll do it again and again until I stand upon the sand of the sea and I see a beast rise up out of the sea. Hail Satan. While she's like, there's like a shot of her covered in blood, and she's kind of like, you can tell she's embraced the devil and she's like a whole part of this thing now. So like she was hesitant at the beginning, but she's fully embraced Satan, probably because she didn't really have a choice. But Lee finally does something by grabbing Ruby and pulling her away from the doll. Carter stumbles into the room covered in blood and storms toward Ruby to finish the job, but Lee shoots him. Ruth creepily says, "Move away from the girl." It's like her voice like changes a little bit. It's kind of demonic, which is kind of a cool detail. And she pulls a knife from under her nun habit or whatever the hell that is. Lee says, "Mom, please," but Ruth screams, "Don't call me that." So I guess she's not, it's like fully Satan.
Yeah.
That's
kind of what I figured.
Satan takes the wheel. Lee shoots her mom in the head and starts sobbing. She turns to face Ruby, who is hugging the doll tight. Lee pulls Ruby away and then goes to shoot the doll, but the gun won't fire. And suddenly we hear Longlegs' disembodied voice singing, "Happy birthday to you." And then it adds like 24 minutes to this runtime because he just keeps singing it. Lee stares at the doll for a long beat. And we cut to Longlegs laughing in the interrogation room that we saw earlier before saying, "Hail Satan," and making a little kissy face to the camera. The end.